We're here with John Watson. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Tony.
We're going to tie up some flies which we think may interest the fish here on the Dove and also up on the Nidd. These are some of your favourite platens, John. So what are you going to start us off with?
I'm going to start us off with a steel blue, Tony.
Right.
It's a favourite fly of Roger Woolley.
Yes.
It's become over many years a favourite of mine. I do tie it probably a little bit different to Roger in that we use a vice, he tied it in his fingers.
Yes, of course.
And I tie it back to front to what he did. But
right.
That's the way I do it.
Yes.
For simplicity.
Yes.
I'm sure he wouldn't approve, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So what, you're starting off, what size hook is it?
Well, it's a 14 I've got in the vice, but
right.
We can go down to an 18, but generally speaking I would use a 14 or a 16.
Yeah.
And really it's just a matter of conditions and whether the fish are taking. I'll use the bigger one if the fish are taking them. I'll go down a size or two if they're a little bit thicker.
Yeah. My problem getting is that the eyes are getting smaller. I don't know whether these manufacturers are doing it with a lot smaller eyes on that they used to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
But this fly is one that Roger Woolley always recommended for grayling, and every day when he fished, there was this fly on his cast with a witch, one of the witch series, and that was his starting for the day.
Right.
And he would fish them, generally speaking, wet, but also dry. And I found, particularly the steel blue, it's a very, very successful fly on the top, even into the winter. I've caught good fish on this in winter, December and January. Yeah. And so we'll give it a do.
Right.
So it's just orange silk to start with.
Is that wax silk? I mean, is it silk? I mean, we're using a lot of synthetics these days, aren't we?
This, in fact, is synthetic.
Right.
It is wax, Tony.
Right.
Yes, it gives it that.
So it's a pre-wax.
Gives it that bit of grip. But I always just put a bit of the wax mixture on as well.
Right. And the wax mixture, that's beeswax, and do you mix anything else with it?
I put some resin in with it,
right,
and just mould it in my fingers.
Yeah.
So I just go down the hook in touching turns like that. We've got to make a little orange butt at the end, so I just build that up in that sort of way. Then we want a freckled blue dun hackle. And this is a genetic cape, and Roger wouldn't have had these available to him.
No, of course not.
There would have been ordinary cock capes or even hen capes. And he did breed his own Andalusian poultry, I believe. I've been told that. I haven't got definite proof, but that was one of his favourite colours. So I'm going to use a genetic cape today because I don't have one that's really suitable in terms of...
what colour would you say that was?
Well, it's medium blue dun, but there's a little bit of a freckle on it. In fact, if you look at the designation in the book, I think it says a grizzle or a grizzle fleck, but not a grizzled hackle as such. No. So I'll just catch that in there. Just catch that in.
Yes.
And then we want a little bit of gold wire.
Right.
A bad habit, cutting it with my scissors, but there we go. Catch that in under the hook. Then wind it up almost to the eye. Then I just like to put a smear of varnish on the top there just to grip the next material, which is peacock herl. I just use a single strand because it says it should be a thin body of peacock herl, and cut it plenty short enough because they do tend to break. That in at the eye. I'm just going to wind this down now. It It stands up rather fluffy at the moment, but
Yeah.
it will all lie down to make a somewhat sleeker fly. Then Roger always said that you ribbed the peacock herl. Now this has always been a bit of a mystery to me why you didn't rib the hackle, but that's what it says, so
Right,
that's
right.
what I always do.
Yes.
Now, I might be wrong that he in fact did rib the hackle in,
Yes.
but I've gone absolutely with the book, and it always seems to work very, very well for me.
Right.
And having ribbed it, I'll just remove the wire. And at that point, we're ready to put the hackle on. And I don't worry too much about how tidy these are. They get very scruffy once the fish have had one.
Yeah.
And just wind it through the peacock herl. And then a slight difference with Roger again, I tend to put a couple of turns at the head like that.
Yes. Yeah. Makes sense anyway. Yeah.
Wind the silk through. Take the waste off. Then a bit of spit.
And you're using a whip finish tool.
Oh, I'm not proud, Tony.
No.
It's
No, it's all right. I use one myself a lot of the time, particularly on the smaller flies.
that's right. Just a touch of varnish like that. And dressed with a hen hackle,
Yes.
it makes a lovely wet fly.
Yes.
I often let them go down even with the cock hackle and they'll just drift subsurface.
Yeah.
And I find them a very, very nice fly, for grayling particularly, but trout will have them as well.
You're right, and it's also it's quite a popular fly with competition anglers even
Is it
today.
really? Right, I didn't know that.
Reservoir fishing,
Yeah.
steely blue.
Yeah.
It's still a popular fly.
Yeah.
No, that's excellent, John. That's really well done.
Right.
Now, what's the next fly you're going to treat us to?
Well, the next one is a little bit of perhaps vanity. This is a fly that I only claim to have invented myself.
Oh,
And
right.
there are many flies like it. It's a sedge, and I originally tied it for lake fishing and then tried it out a long time ago on rivers and found in smaller sizes that it was really very successful. And being a bit of a botanist as well, I'm rather interested in grasses in sedges from a long time ago. And there is a sedge which is called the great fox sedge.
Right.
And since I tied this with fox fur,
Yes.
I call it the fox sedge.
Right.
So it's a dual purpose name in effect.
Right. And sedges are getting more and more important.
They
I'm
are,
finding on
they
on
are
the-
indeed, and I use this as well as a rough water fly.
Yes.
Even if there aren't sedges on the water, some nice bubbly rough water, this floats very well, and let it run through, and the trout will come for it in quite a big way.
Good.
So it works very well. It also, I find, works quite late into the season as well.
Right.
But I have caught fish on it in April as a rough water fly, and they're probably not taking it as a sedge at that point.
I don't know.
But anyway, well,
See, we talk about the sedge, and a lot of people who are just coming into fly fishing and having a look through forget the February red
that's right. That's
and
right.
standard cotton
Oh yes,
pattern, which of course comes out in February.
Oh, it does. Yes, it does indeed. So again, we'll just give the silk a little bit of wax. Use brown silk this time.
Right.
Go down the shank to more or less opposite the hook point.
Right.
it is relatively important on this one just to put that bit of varnish in, because I'm going to use some Lurex just out of out of my mother's sewing basket.
Oh, right, right.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I usually just double it over.
You double it? Reasons for that?
Just to, so it isn't too gappy on the hook shank, Tony, really. I'm going to take it up the hook shank and then back again because it's quite fine stuff.
Right.
Before that point's reached, we want a red cockhackle in because we're going to palmer that up the body of the fly. I don't worry about how long the barbs are on it particularly.
No.
Because it's going to get clipped and mauled about, something that Roger Woolley definitely wouldn't have approved of.
No.
He isn't here to object today, so...
No. I bet he's sorry about that.
I just go up to the eye with the silk. In fact, I think we've got away with it today. We perhaps don't need to go back and up again because I don't think
So you put that on in touching turns?
That's right. I just don't like it too gappy. I mean,
No.
Again, I really don't think it makes that much difference except in the eye of the beholder.
Yes. Because Roger Woolley, he was looking at his flies to sell.
He certainly was, yes. And as such, they would want to be eyeable. So now just rib that up.
And you're coming back up Palmer style, so
That's right.
The gold is showing through.
So it wants to show plenty of gold.
Right.
Tie that off. Lose the waist. Then just comb the fibres down like that, because we're going to sit a wing on top of here.
Yep.
This is a piece of fox fur.
Right.
Perhaps not very PC, but it's a piece of roadkill that I've had many years.
Right.
It's served me very well. So just a good chunk of the fur.
And so we can, if we're having a look at that, we can see it's very grey down on the bottom, and then comes up into
these nice glowing
red
hairs that we're after, Tony. There is a strip down the middle of the fox's back, which are the ones I really do prefer, because they're a lot brighter than the others. And so now we just need to comb this out to get the actual under hair out in that way, which makes a very fine dubbing for other flies as well. It's nice soft stuff.
Yeah.
So just clean all that out. I'm just going to offer the wing onto the top like that. Pinch and loop a couple of turns just to tighten everything up. And just sit that in front of there. And then you drop your scissors. Thank you. Just clip that off. Again, it doesn't matter if the head's too big. It doesn't seem to have any effect at all. In fact, it might even enhance the fly, perhaps from a fisher's point of view. I don't really know about that. So we've now got the hackle splayed at the bottom. We've got the wing overlying it. We want another red
cockhackle.
The cockhackles, and fairly stiffish, bright ones. Again, I don't think it really matters as regards a specific colour.
No.
But a nice deep red.
Yeah, it's nice and bright.
That's right. And again, I do like the, somewhat old-fashioned perhaps now, Indian cockhackles, but they're becoming scarcer to get hold of, aren't they?
Well, that's true, I suppose.
So we're just going to tie that in on top of the platform where the head is. Clip that off. I'm going to wind 2 or 3 turns. You can put more on if you want it to float well. Again, it doesn't really matter. There are no particular rules about it. Just wind it through the hackle. Clip the waste off. Bit of spit again. Just bind that down, tidy it up a little bit. If you trap some of the fibres again, it doesn't matter because we're not quite finished. We're going to do a quick barber's job on it in a minute. Drop of varnish. And at that point, I clip the wing square with the bend of the hook.
I see.
Like that.
Right.
Then I take the fly out, draw the hackle down, and then just clip it from the point of the hook to the eye.
Right.
Just remove them.
And so that will allow it to lie flat on
It lies in the film at that point. And that's the fox sedge.
Yeah, it looks very attractive, that does. And the nice bright attle shines.
Yeah.
Shines well out. Yeah.
It's, the other thing is you can see it on the water.
Yes,
It's in rough
yeah.
water. It is obvious.
Yeah.
There is one other thing. As I say, it was tied as a lake fly originally. South Yorkshire reservoir that I used to fish. I used to get sedges coming off there, which were towards 3/4 of an inch long. And I've tied this on up to size 8s, not long shank 8s, but 8s,
Right,
but certainly
right.
long shank 10s as a
Yeah.
lake fly.
Yeah.
Cast it out in calm water and don't strip it in, just twitch it
Yes.
now and then. And it is a very, very effective pattern.
Very good.
So there we are. It's number 2.
Just a few hours north of here, nestling in the Dales of North Yorkshire, is another of England's watery jewels, the River Nidd. Set in an area of staggering natural beauty, the River Nidd boasts some of the finest fishing sport in the world.
It's a really nice morning. We've had a good night's sleep, feeling really refreshed. Looking forward to a great day's fishing.
Tony is following in the footsteps, quite literally, of his good friend John Watson and his friend, chairman of the Nidd Angling Club, Michael Pattinson.
Right, we're making our way down to the river. I can hear that babbling of the water.
Tony would like to go up there.
Looks good to
we
looks
usually
good to me.
manage to fish, catch some fish in between that rock there.
I
and
see.
the ones over
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
It's a good little run there.
Right.
If I sort of try a little bit further out over here,
Right.
and John, if you would like to fish lower down, almost always there's a good collection of fish underneath the trees over there.
Very good.
Looks a nice little run, that does, doesn't it?
Nice run.
Yeah.
It can be a bit deep on the right,
Right.
so you have to be careful, but
Yeah.
you can usually wade down the middle
Yes. And then
without too
fish
much
back.
bother. Yeah.
yes. Right. That's fine.
Are we all starting off with dries, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Give it a try anyway. And
Yeah.
see how we
Start
go.
off with
Yeah.
a sedge, only
Right.
because it's
Well,
I've
that's
just-
right at this time of year now, and it's
Yeah.
very visible.
I've
for
just
us.
seen 2, so just come up in that
Yeah.
corner. So,
Anyway, we've got. Let's go fishing.
Yeah, we'll go
Let's go
fishing.
fishing. the first time I fished this river. It's a little bit like the Derbyshire Derwent, and I suspect that probably looking at the colour of the water, and because it's coming off the moors, is that there's a little bit of acid in the river from the moorland peat. Mike, the secretary, fishing just on my right here, the middle section of the water, and just exploring these runs up in front. A little bit, it has been a cold night, a little bit early in the day perhaps. I've seen no fly hatch just yet, so it's just a matter of prospecting as we go up, just casting into likely areas and runs, and just seeing if we can get a fish that's looking up. The date is the 26th of September, so we're looking to perhaps pick up a late season brown trout as well, which if we get should be in wonderful spawning colours, and then also we're just coming into the main part perhaps of the grayling fishing season.
Some very, very small pale flies coming off in this corner. Just odd ones. Just by that ash tree. Another nice sedge come off there. Might well be worth trying one, I think. I'm going to change to a sedge, I think, now. There's just the odd one or two coming off. I've not seen any fish to them, but we might be able to pull a fish up from the bottom. The sedge just coming up into the trees there. There's quite a lot about now. All we want's the fish up at them.
I've taken off the fly that I started with, reluctantly I must say, and I'm just putting a sedge type on. Mike, who's fishing to my right, says that he started off with a sedge, and he'd had a fish on and it came off quickly, so it may be that sedges are perhaps something that they might be familiar with. So just sort of searching out the water just in front of me, trying to do it quite diligently, not extending the line too far, just making sure that the fish get the chance to seed. I've no doubt that there's lots and lots of grayling just lying in front of us, and as always the secret of fly fishing is just finding that fly that will tempt them on the day. Nice water in front of me. So just trying to cast there. The problem you've got to watch with that is that the speed of the current closer to the rod. Well there we are, just missed one. That was a lovely rise. So that was a shame. We'll cover that little area. So the grayling are here, and that's something that's taken a little bit of interest. Now you see that fish wasn't far away from me. The griffy snap works well for me on the dove as well, particularly imitations of midges. And there have been 1 or 2 midges this morning, so just give this 1 or 2 shots, and then we'll try the griffy snap.
There are 2 pools here.
Right.
If he isn't in it, there's a longish one there, but particularly that pool there by that rock, Tony, and there's some rough water here.
Right.
Those are 2 very, very nice spots, I think.
Come on then, it's getting on for lunchtime, we still haven't had that fish yet. Oh, there's a fish just come up.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Hang on a minute.
I'm in.
Are you ready? So if you drop in behind these trees, Tony, now be careful because there's big boulders and there's gaps between them. Right. And you fish up this crease here, that side of the stone, and the crease the other side of the stone. Right. And you should find something there.
I'd hope so.
And if you want to come across to this side, there's very deep water under that alder bush.
Right.
So it's perhaps worthwhile floating.
Keeping pretty much
through there.
We've changed positions on the river. Although we rose the odd fish on that top section, we were not sort of connecting with the fish at all. So we're just trying a bit further downstream, and I've changed over to a team of 3 wet flies. Dipper's just gone upstream.
Try the pools on the runs on the far bank under the trees now. The river's showing the tints of autumn. There's a lot of leaves in it today. Apparently not a lot of fish at the moment. I'm going to change the fly in a moment now. There's just a sedge come off that far side. See if we can pull one up. We'll try them with a sedge, I think, now. See if we can do anything with that. There's another pool just above the weir there that we can try in a minute or two that sometimes holds a fish. It's, days like this, a sedge will often pull grayling up, and Dipper going downstream there, will often pull grayling up from the bottom on this pool and the next one down.
Oh. And there's quite a few fish started rising in front of me, and they wouldn't look at the flies that I'd got on. They just weren't looking at. So I'd decided to go back to a dry fly, and whilst I was changing flies there was quite a bit of interest. No end of fish coming up. However, when I got the Griffiths gnat out, which I'd have sworn was something they would have had a go at, they just didn't look at it. And now there's a fish here just rising in front, and I'm putting the fly over it, and it doesn't seem to want to know. And just a thought occurred to me as I wondered, oh, look at that. I mean, there was two fish come up together. I was just wondering if it might be, oh, missed him. A lovely brown trout come straight over the top of the fly, took it, and I missed it. Oh, should I say the trout missed the fly. Nice little brown trout. I'll just rest that fish and just move my fly over to the left. There's certainly activity, and I think what's happening is that the wind is fetching some leaves off the tree, and I think there's probably insects that are coming down amongst the leaves. Anyway, that trout was interested in the little sedge type I put on, but the others have gone quiet on me, so I'll just keep fishing away. I suppose there's another fish just rose up there, and the fly had just come right over it. Now come on, take that fish. It's right over your nose. Nope. Again, just a little bit to the right. Frustrating. What I'm doing is because of the current, I'm getting quite a bit of drag on. Let's just extend the right. So what I should do in these circumstances is just stop and have a look at the water and just see if I can see anything that's coming down on the current that just might give me an intimation as to what they might be taking. And you know, I can't see anything there. Well, there's a fish came up then and took my fly beautifully, and I struck and missed it. But there we go. We've had a beautiful day here. Couldn't have picked a nicer day. A beautiful stream in excellent condition. Plenty of fish. We've seen plenty of fish. We know there's plenty of fish in the water. But we were hoping for a Yorkshire grayling, but it looks as though that's not going to happen. So anyway, there we go. A new river. I fished up in Yorkshire. Made some new friends, and seen the fishing in this part of the world.
Welcome to Beresford Fishery. We're delighted to offer exclusive fishing on one of Derbyshire's most famous rivers, the Dove. You'll be fishing in the footsteps of the world-famous anglers Isaac Walton and Charles Cotton. You'll see their initials entwined forever on the stone above the entrance to the fishing temple. The temple beat begins 100 yards or so from the steps of the fishing temple and runs for about a mile through the spectacular Beresford Dale Gorge to the lower limit at Beresford Lane. The clarity of this lovely limestone river is exceptional, making it ideal for sight fishing the native wild trout and free-rising grayling. The fishing is suitable for up to 4 anglers. The beat can be fished from the bank or with selective wading, for which chest waders are recommended. There are 1 or 2 stockfish left, but the long-term plan is to return this stretch of the Dove to being an all-wild trout fishery. You'll have exclusive access to the fishing temple, which stands in this lush green garden and is surrounded by the river on 3 sides. It is a truly idyllic spot. This wonderful backdrop has even been compared to the wilderness of Montana. We hope you enjoy fishing the Temple Beat. If you'd like to find out more about the fishing temple or want to visit and fish the Temple Beat on the River Dove, please email john@beresfordfishery.co.uk.